I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network, where tonight it is time to crown another champion here on the NRN airwaves, and it will be for the Sim Racers Club, SimSpeedShop.com Premier Series, crowning their champion for the Mint Mortgage fall season. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth, as always, by Mr. Patrick Byrne, and I'll tell you what here, Bizzle, this has been a season of interesting, of fun. I mean, Braden Carroll has been a dominant force this season, but he is not entering the night as the championship leader. That honor is going to go to Johnny Avila, but man alive, is this championship battle tight.
Yeah, I think for pretty much every season we've done of the Sim Racers Club, it has been a very tight point battle. Johnny Avila has been one of the names in each and every one of them. He is again coming in tonight as your points leader. Currently with 509 points, Braden Carroll with 504 points. Both of them, I'm giving them both an extra point so far, as you do get a bonus point for having no incident points. Currently, they have not scored any incident points in the race, so they get that bonus point still.
This literally, we're talking a 6-point difference between these two as we get ready to roll off tonight's race. But that's not the only battle that we're going to have here either. It's 35 points back to Quentin Clark in third, but he only has 13 on Garrett Johnston for fourth. Andrew Moore is 4 back of Johnston in fifth. Hunter Waters is 6 back of Moore in the 6th position. Almost the entire top 5 is up for grabs here tonight in what is a 175 lap race. This is going to be a very, very long night for these guys.
Yeah, it's going to be very long, very tough. They're going to have to capitalize on stage points. We could see even Hunter Waters back in the 7th position, or excuse me, the 6th position, jump up and take that 3rd spot. So if the battles are all close enough throughout the field, we're going to see some shakeups here tonight.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. And with only 2 sets of tires in the box, stages are going to be at lap 40 and lap 90. We'll see when and if there will be a stage caution tonight. That really plays into things a little bit here for these guys, because the more you watch this race go on, the more you're going to kind of have to play with some things. But no surprise, Johnny Avila is top of the charts here in the practice session with a lap time of 28:037. 28:052 for Braden Carroll, who is second quick. There is 0.02 of a second separating our championship contenders here with just about a minute and a half left in practice.
Yeah, they're the 2 fastest guys in the field, and I wouldn't be surprised if they start to run away with a little bit. Braden Carroll early in the season took the old Kevin Dick theory. Go out there, go as absolutely fast as you can and try and run away with it. Braden Carroll's, Johnny Avila's a little more reserved, saves his stuff for the end, but not very good at capitalizing on the stage points. It's been a running joke in the Sim Racers Club now at this point, where he's good at leading every lap of the stage except the last one. He'll spin it out in turn 4 right before that green and white checker waves.
Hopefully we're not seeing any of that tonight. We've already had one championship determined this week based on a little bit of bad luck in turn number 1. But if there was a place that it was going to happen, it would be Phoenix Raceway. This is the new layout of Phoenix as we see Johnny Avila heading down what amounts to the backstretch and into turns 3 and 4 now. You come off this corner and you're, right away on top of the start-finish line, hook the left-hand turn and go way down onto the apron. It's not as wide as Tunic's was, but it's pretty darn close, and there is a whole lot of, we'll say, excess racetrack that these drivers will be able to play with tonight.
Yeah, you're able to cut out the entirety of that dog leg all the way down to the pit exit there, so it can get absolutely wild. The other thing to note here is just how crazy these guys are going to get, not only entering the dog leg, but exiting it. It's almost like trying to funnel in a whole bunch of cars into a lane closure on the PA Turnpike. It is going to be tough.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you almost have to be back up on the racing surface a little bit earlier than you would expect to get into turn number 1, because just the way that end of the racetrack, the shape of it really didn't change all that much. So you almost have to be able to kind of arc the car in a little bit. It's a little bit flatter end of the racetrack, it feels like.
Yeah, it's very easy to push up into now what is turns 1 and 2.
And let's see. AJ Digby puts the car up into the fence trying to get it out onto the racetrack. So I think he's going to reset. So we'll pick up the 25 of Larry Bruner making his way out onto the speedway. Down in the bottom line, you'll see everything iRacing related that we are covering here on the National Racing Network. USF Pro again.
One thing I was just thinking about, Quentin Clark is not mathematically out of this. He's only 41 points behind Johnny Avila. We have seen in the past Braden Carroll and Avila wreck very, very early. So if both those cars get wrecked out and they don't earn any stage points and they finish poorly in this race, and Quentin Clark wins both stages, it could be enough to take this championship by surprise.
Yes, it could be. But he would need the 10 points for the stage, plus the 40 points for the win. That would get him to 30, I guess is what the number is. Quentin Clark would have to do something pretty darn spectacular. But yeah,
that would get him the 60 points, winning the race plus the 20 from winning both stages.
Correct. Yeah, I'm just thinking it would only be a 10-point difference to 12th
maybe
and 13th,
not, because even Johnny Avila, if he finishes the back of this field, 12th and 13th, that's still going to be, let's see, 12th is still 29 points, so maybe not. Maybe we were getting our hopes up a little too much for a sneak. So tonight's champion is going to be either Johnny Avila or Braden Carroll.
Well, here you go. AJ Digby goes top of the board, 28.822 seconds, taking a half second off the time set by Larry Bruner. Tom Wilhite is on the racetrack, as is the 7 of Hunter Waters. Want to make mention of all the sponsors that have come on board to support the SimSpeedShop.com Premier Series throughout this 2023 season. I can't believe we started back in February and we're now finally to championship night. Johnny Avila will be crowned the grand champion here tonight. He has already finished that one with his performances in the spring and summer seasons. But now Hunter Waters coming around to finish his qualification run. 29.394 was lap number 1. Lap number 2 will be quick time, 28.785. Oh, he's usually trying to come from the back. Maybe a little bit further up here tonight as we pick up the 04 of Cody Porter. Lap number 1 going up on the board for Porter. And it is going to be a 36.561, possibly a little bit of contact with the wall. Right now, a couple of the Will Worsler Racing, without Will Racing, whatever we're going to call it here this week. A couple of those WWR cars up on the front row as it stands with 6 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in qualifications. But Cody Porter goes to the top, 28.370. Big lap there. And let's see who else we have on the racetrack that we could take a look at. Let's see. Troy Haight in the Woodfather, number 28 Chevrolet Camaro, was out on the speedway. Tyler Seville is just now turning lap number 1 on the board. So let's pick up number 11. Oh, as he goes for a slide. Gonna try to keep it off the wall.
Well, he keeps it off of everything.
Keeps it, yeah, doesn't hit anything, but he's going to have to reset and restart. He's only going to get one lap. This will not be a good qualification run for Tyler Seville. Troy Haight working his first of 2 qualification laps. Down through turn 4, over the start finish line. Lap number 1 on the board for Troy Haight will be a 29.030. Good enough for 4th quick on the board. Quentin Clark still sitting at the end of pit road. Tyler Seville now working lap number 2 as the 15 of Garrett Johnston also moves out onto the speedway. Up over the start finish line, the conclusion of lap number 2 for Troy Haight. That's a good lap there, up to 2nd quick. 28.696. Nice lap for Troy Haight. Now see what Tyler Seville's going to be able to do. And, well, he's just going to bin it down the end of the front straightaway as he goes 2nd quick. 28.436 seconds. And there is the number 15. Oh, my goodness. That is a chromed out holographic number 15 MTV Chevrolet Camaro belonging to Garrett Johnston. That's a wrap job right there.
Hey, what's MTV?
I remember it as a TV station that used to play a lot of music videos, but
Isn't that what radio's for?
yeah. So Garrett Johnston's first lap does not score. He's going to head back out onto the racetrack. There's Quentin Clark in the Mach 5 design. Wolfelt on Spotify, number 42 Chevrolet Camaro. He will be looking to take his first trip around the Phoenix Raceway here in the qualification session. Still waiting on Braden Carroll to get out onto the racetrack. Also Doug Visacki, Richard Fletcher, and Johnny Avila. And oh, Bizzle, this is a storyline tonight here, brother. Take a look at these weather conditions. 80-degree ambient temperature, 130-degree track temperature. That's going to be slick.
Yeah, but it's dry heat.
I don't know that anybody enjoys 130-degree track temps at Phoenix during the day. We'll follow the first lap here for Quentin Clark as he will see the white flag this time by. Lap number 1 goes on the board, and it will be third quick, 28.541. But let's pick up your championship chaser, Braden Carroll. Lap number 1, quick time, 28.313, and that's going to be it for car number 24. The Zeem Speed Shop, TeamZSS.com Chevrolet, is going to the top of the charts. On to the racetrack now. You're defending, well, he has, I guess, 2 championships in the Sim Racers Club. Kevin Dick with 2 championships already this season. Unfortunately, not getting Kevin to run here in the fall season, a big time bummer, because they were such fun battles to watch between Kevin and Johnny Avila. But now Avila going to try to knock Zeem's Speed Shop teammate Braden Carroll off the top of the board. And we'll be down to 2 cars remaining, and we've only got about 90 seconds left in qualifications. Avila going to drop down in lap number 1, 36.296. Not saying there's any cheesing going on. Oh, but he may have kissed the wall. And Avila spins it in 3 and 4.
You do get a bonus point for being the hard charger.
Well, and Avila did get a lap in the books. He made an attempt, sailed it off into turn number 1.
For the monetary prize, you do need to put an attempt in, but for the bonus point, you do not need to put an attempt in.
So Johnny Avila is going to finish his qualification and run, and that will be it. 45 seconds left in qualifying. There's not time for Doug Visacki or Richard Fletcher to get a lap in the books. And we're going to have a couple of guys, our championship contenders, one at the very front of this field, one coming from the back. The big thing, though, here, Bizzle, is that when you've only got 13, and in Johnny Avila's case, going to be starting, looks like from position number 10. 10 cars is not that many to have to pass here, especially at a place like Phoenix where you can be as aggressive as Johnny Avila likes to be on these starts and restarts.
Yeah, if you want to be aggressive on a start or a restart, this is the track to do it. It opens up right there after the start-finish line. You could dive down as far as you want. You could stay up as high as you want. It opens up to probably 15 cars wide before it narrows back in.
So we will just wait to get the word here from race control on what the stage breaks will be tonight, because I have a feeling that will be one of the key things we see tonight. When do these drivers elect to make their stops? I don't know if you got a chance to talk to these guys at all tonight, Bizzle, but I mean, I would imagine you're probably talking 60 or so laps. It basically makes this a two-stop race.
Yeah, the strategy for this one should be pretty easy. Just kind of stick around, pit when the fuel and tires start, or if the fuel gets low, the tires start getting slick, and go back out there. Shouldn't be one that's too tough to figure out. It's not going to be like a Pocono race.
Yeah, and we're looking at stage breaks at lap number 40 and lap number 90 tonight. Lap 40, the end of Northland Leisure, stage number 1, will be the stage break caution here tonight. So now qualifications are done. Field is getting off onto the starting grid. And as they're getting out onto the speedway, let's take a look and get you a look at tonight's starting lineup. Starting on the pole, Limousine Speed Shop, TeamZSS.com, number 24, it is Braden Carroll. Lining up to his outside will be the number 04 of Cody Porter. Row 2 tonight, the Chubbies, Hunter's Fried Pickles, number 11 Toyota Camry, it's Tyler Seville. Alongside of the Mach 5 Design Wolfeld on Spotify, number 42 with Quentin Clark. Troy Haight and Hunter Waters on row number 3, the Woodfather Machine lining up inside of the Hunter's Fried Pickles, Lost Chevrolet, number 7. Row 4 tonight, University of Mount Union Esports, Will Worsler Racing, 14 AJ of AJ Digby, alongside of the 19 of Tom Wilhite. Larry Bruner and Johnny Avila going to occupy row number 5 for tonight's race. Row 6 will be Garrett Johnston and Doug Vaisaki. And all alone on the final row of the grid will be the number 43 of Richard Fletcher. Pace car is in one final time this season. We're going to get ready to go green here in the SimSpeedShop.com Premier Series. Green flag goes in the air. We are underway here at Phoenix.
Johnny Avila very aggressively, already up to the 5th position.
Johnny Avila up to the 4th position now, inside of teammate Hunter Waters. You want to play the hard charger game, there's Johnny Avila. He is up 6 and already will be your hard charger of the race.
I mean, is there any point to qualifying these cars?
Well, that's sort of where you kind of have to ask that question of what counts as an attempt. And are you going to put that in your rule book that you have to make a valid attempt of some sort? But man, if you're Johnny, you're putting some hustling on here as he is already starting to chase down Quentin Clark. Following along the battle between Tyler Seville and Troy Haight, this is the fight for position number 6.
I would argue that Johnny Avila's attempt was an attempt. His first lap actually scored that went in. He wasn't sandbagging too terribly, I don't think.
Well, no, that's like I said, that's where the question of what is an attempt. He was making an attempt on lap number 2. At least it looked like he was. The first lap, yes, you're 7 seconds off the pace. You could argue that wasn't enough. But lap number 2 most certainly was. You just overcooked the corner, and that happens sometimes. And quite frankly, it is hard to judge intent, too. Following along here with AJ Digby and Garrett Johnston. On board here with AJ Digby. He's being chased down by Garrett Johnston. Interesting to hear the throttle application on Digby's car as he goes through turns 1 and 2. That's one of those corners that you don't necessarily want to be off throttle entirely, but at the same time, you also don't want to be giving it too much. That's a big way to burn your tires up.
Not only that, it's a very easy way to get up into that outside wall.
I'm going to say close-ish here. Let's pick up race leader Braden Carroll, holding a 7/10 of a second advantage over Cody Porter. Quentin Clark runs third. Johnny Avila in the 4th position. And this is one of those things, we sort of talked about it a little bit last night with the ENT Shock Series finale, but if you're Johnny Avila, you can't necessarily say, I have to be close, because that may not be good enough to claim a championship here. With it only being a 6-point advantage, you think, well, okay, that's 6 positions on the racetrack. Except that's 2 positions in stage 1. That's 2 positions in stage 2. That's 2 positions at the end of the race. All of a sudden, going third in all 3 stages may not be enough if you're Johnny Avila.
Yeah, as they run right now, the difference is 2 points. Johnny Avila in 4th, Braden Carroll in 1st. They're at 5:48 for Avila, 5:46 for Carroll. Avila currently has the hard charger extra point and the 0 incident extra point, but Carroll has the 0 extra point, the let a lap extra point, and currently holds the fastest lap, so there's another bonus point right there for that one too.
Then potentially one for leading the most laps as well. That one
right now he has. I'll give him that one. So there's only a 1-point difference between these guys right now.
Yeah, and that's with Avila running in position number 3, as he has now come around Quentin Clark. We can take a look at that one here and show it to you on the NRN replay.
So yeah, with him passing for 3rd now, it's a 2-point difference. But I even want to say you don't even want to be playing damage control if you're Johnny Avila. You're gonna want to be on the attack and going out there trying to put Braden in damage control mode.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, there's only one thing Braden Carroll can do. That is go out, lead every lap, set the fast lap, do everything within his power to, and then win the race. Lead every lap with all the stages and everything else. Johnny Avila has some more options to play with. If he runs 2nd to Braden Carroll all night, that will be enough. But you mentioned, as it stands right now, it's a 2-point advantage. And that goes away at the end of stage number 2 if they finish 1st and 3rd, exactly where they're running right now.
Yeah, and you got to remember, Cody Porter is teammates with those 2 guys outside of SRC as well. So all three of those guys are very familiar with racing each other, all very, very, very talented guys. So it's not like you're just battling another one of your normal guys you're racing with here on Wednesday night. These three guys are the same guys you're practicing Road to Pro with.
Yeah, that's a great point. This is a track that they are all going to be very familiar with, and the familiarity with each other, I don't think can be understated either. It is definitely a big one here that these guys are going to know how they all drive. And even, quite frankly, we see Johnny Avila dipping down onto the apron and trying to cut out some of the ground there. He's going to carry a little bit more speed into the corner, but how much ground are you actually making up there, and are you running a risk of burning up the tires? I guess if you're going to say everybody stops at lap 40, you're going to then just cut the race in half from there. It's 135 laps, and it just kind of fits in the pit window. That, at least to me, makes the most logical sense.
Not only that, but you want to get by Cody Porter here and get the 9 stage points for finishing second. You're probably not going to get to Braden Carroll by lap 40, but you might be able to get by Cody by then.
Yeah, the gap is sitting pretty comfortably at about 0.7 of a second. And this is something that we did not see a lot of out of Braden Carroll in prior seasons, that this season has really been a big development point for him. He is managing races a lot better. You have that 0.7 of a second gap, and you just say, look, I have to go no faster than this, and I'm going to accomplish what my goal is for the night.
Yep, just got to go out there and be the champion. That's all you got to do. I make it sound very easy.
Yes, America's Worst Crew Chief says, yeah, this one's easy tonight. James Watson thought the same thing last night, too. Poor guy. Actually,
all you got to do is not wreck in the first turn, man.
Basically it. Keep the nose clean, and that's what we're seeing here out of Johnny Avila and Braden Carroll, for that matter.
That goes with saying that. I mean, West Shire won that championship in turn 1. The races are won and lost in turn 1. Championships are won and lost in turn 1. And last night, unfortunately, it was won and lost in turn number 1.
Yeah, actually, a couple of pretty good shows we had last night for you, if you want to go back and watch them. The sprint car race from 5 Flags, 50 laps clean and green, and the top 2 were never more than 2 car lengths apart the entire race. It was done and dusted in 12 minutes and 32 seconds. Wild show out of the sprint cars. You do not want to miss that one. Monday night show in the Silver Crowns actually was very good as well. We're going to have another good one coming up tomorrow night. It'll be the USF Pros, the Old Indy Pro 2000 series, taking on Zandvoort over in the Netherlands. I am really looking forward to us being able to broadcast a race there from the Netherlands. A very, very cool circuit. A whole lot of history there as well. We got to get through, well, quite frankly, a ton of racing action here tonight, as we are just past the halfway point in stage number 1.
He was right on Cody's bumper. Porter looks to be getting a little bit loose now.
Yeah, Porter, I think, is giving up a little bit. He's lost about 1/10 of a second to Braden Carroll. The gap's now hovering. It's gone from hovering between 6 and 7/10 to now 7 and 8/10 of a second. Looking at the lap averages, Johnny Avila and Braden Carroll's 15 lap averages are separated by 1/100th of a second. What's interesting is they are doing it in 2 completely different ways. Braden Carroll, very smooth, very chill, just kind of running his line, doing his thing. Johnny Avila has been all over this racetrack trying to make ground up on Cody Porter.
I mean, you can't drive through him. You do have to go around him. So you got to find grip somewhere else. You got to find speed somewhere else and get by him somewhere else.
Let's slide a little bit deeper in the pack here, and we'll pick up Tyler Seville and Troy Haight battling for position number 5. Hunter Waters just up ahead. At 15, and Garrett Johnston just back behind. The Exorcist cam will swing the head around, pick up the look at Troy Hayden as they are starting to close in on Hunter Waters for position number 5. And this is where maybe the strategy is a little bit different for these guys, 5th, 6th, and 7th, especially with Tyler Seville being as good at tire saving as he is. No real surprise here that he's going to be 4 or 5 seconds back of the race leaders, knowing full well that maybe he's going to try and play a little bit of a track position game.
Yeah, just kind of hang back. You know you're going to get caught back up to them on lap 40. The question is then, is he going to go and take tires? Or is he going to stay out and try and push that set?
Well, and that becomes the question. If you take a set of tires at lap 40, you're basically using up the set you would have for late in the race. That's an option that these drivers have, but like you said, you could also not take tires at the first pit stop. Try to baby these as much as you can. And then, who knows, you get a late race caution and potentially you got a set of sneakers here. I don't like that call particularly myself, only because you have so few cars on the racetrack. A caution is definitely not a guarantee that it's going to happen.
Yeah, we haven't seen a caution earlier in this one, but knowing the trends, I'll play the Larry Mack trends guy. SRC is either front caution heavy or rear caution heavy. They don't have a lot in the middle, and if you don't get any in the beginning portion of the race, you tend to get 1 or 2 or even more than that towards the end of the race.
Pick up Johnny Avila and Cody Porter as the 63 is right there inside of the 04 through 1 and 2.
Almost looks like he's trying to get to the rear bumper and bump him up the racetrack.
Well, and Cody Porter has definitely lost some time to Braden Carroll. The gap is now up to 1.5 seconds, almost 1.25 seconds right now, kind of sliding a little bit back and forth. But Quentin Clark is closing in on Avila as much as Avila is closing in on Porter. And I think that's Porter slowing back up. I don't know that Braden Carroll is exactly doing any pushing, as we're going to be down to 10 to go here in stage number 1.
I'm not sure how much I'm loving the line that Avila's running in 1 and 2, but maybe it's going to work for him. Porter gets way out of shape there.
Yeah, Porter was sliding off of turn number 2 that time. And Avila's going to be able to come inside. He'll get the pass made up to position number 2. And you run that apron line, though, and you just give up so much pace at the midpoint of the corner. Again, Porter shows a little bit of a wiggle off at turn number 2 that time.
Yeah, I'm thinking Porter has burned the right rear off of that thing.
Now the gap is 1.6 seconds. If you're Johnny Avila, do you even try and chance this with less than 10 to go in the stage?
Nope, right where he is at is perfect. He'll lose 1 point to Braden Carroll. Right now there's 3 points separating them. As I said, there'll only be 2 points separating them. But if he can get up there and lead just 1 lap, that'll give him another point.
Yeah, it's going to be tight to follow this one throughout the race here. As you mentioned, it is a 3-point difference between Johnny Avila and Braden Carroll as it stands right now. Oh, we've got one car down on pit lane. That looks like Richard Fletcher with a big hit on the front of Fletcher's car. Let's take a look here and see if we can see what happened on the replay. As Quentin Clark going to be down inside. Oh, little twitch, little bobble. Oh, it just absolutely tears the front end off that number 43. So unfortunately for Richard Fletcher, he's going to be down on pit lane.
I can't believe that wasn't a debris caution. I know NASCAR is notorious for throwing BS debris cautions, but there was a whole front bumper lying there on the track. I'd be okay with that one. We're not talking about a hot dog wrapper here, guys.
Tyler Seville on pit lane. This is an interesting call here for Seville. Not sure if this is a car issue or a trying to game the strategy a little bit deal, but Tyler Seville is going to head down into his pit box. And we are not yet to the stage break. Tyler Seville going to fall one lap down to race leader Braden Carroll. And Johnny Avila is closing the gap ever so slightly. It's down to 1.2 seconds as the field has also come around Larry Bruner in the number 25. That's a big deal for Tyler Seville because he will not get a lucky dog this time around. And Seville actually on pit lane. Trouble for Tyler Seville. That car making an extended stay on pit lane. Up over 50 seconds now in the box for the Chubbies. Hunter's Fried Pickles number 11. And it'll be 2 to go here at Northland Leisure stage number 1. Braden Carroll holding a 1 second advantage over Johnny Avila. The 5-lap average for Avila is about a 1/10.5 quicker than what we're seeing out of Braden Carroll. But Carroll, quite frankly, just has to keep that car pointed down the straight and narrow. It'll be 1 to go here in stage number 1, this time by for the Zeem Speed Shop, TeamZSS.com, number 24. Braden Carroll doing what he needs to do. Through turn number 4 under the green and white checkered flag, and Braden Carroll claims the win in Northland Leisure stage number 1. Field will come around and we will eventually see the caution flag. And there it is. Yellow flag comes out for the first time here tonight. Potentially first and only time here tonight. As Braden Carroll picks up the win in stage number 1. Don't see Braden available to talk to. Oh, and how about it though? A big story here. Quentin Clark comes around Johnny Avila at the white 1 to go. Take a look at the replay as the field's going to make their way down onto pit lane. Well,
what happened to Johnny? Did he start slowing down early?
I don't know if Avila started slowing down early or what, but I would assume, based on where they crossed the start-finish line, that we're going to see Johnny Avila scored as position number 2. We will check with race control on that one as Braden Carroll gets that machine into the box. Crew will go around to work on the right-hand side. It'll be 4 fresh Goodyear Racing Eagles, 2 cans Sunoco fuel going in. And AJ Digby stays out on the racetrack. Carroll going to just barely beat Quentin Clark in the race off pit lane. Well, it looks like it'll be Braden Carroll, Quentin Clark, Johnny Avila, Cody Porter, and Garrett Johnston, the top 5 off of pit lane. And we do have confirmation from race control that Johnny Avila did finish in position number 2 at the end of stage number 1. since we don't have our stage winner that we can talk to, let's talk to Johnny Avila, our runner-up in stage number 1 and championship contender. And Johnny, how is the car feeling here after stage 1? I would imagine 130-degree track temp is not real pleasant to be driving on.
No, it's real skatey. Entry, exit. I felt like I was driving a dirt track at times, turning right more than left.
Yeah, one of those you're going to be fighting the car all night long. Doing what you need to do, though, in terms of the championship battle here with Braden. Finishing second, what's the strategy here the rest of the race? Is it just stay on his bumper and know you're doing enough?
I don't even know if I finish second in all the stages in the race if my point lead will be enough. Hopefully I can get the biggest mover because that's a bonus point. So put a time down in qualifying. That was fantastic. But man, these cars get really sketchy to drive, so it's just going to come down to who can hang on the best.
All right, buddy. Well, good luck the rest of the way here. Hopefully we're talking to you just a little bit.
Do you want to know what the points are as they run?
No.
Sure.
No, we're not going to tell them. No, because we don't have Brady.
Okay.
Since we can't play Brady, we won't give them the update.
And that's their fault for being in the other Discord. Alright? They know where this one's is.
Hey, I'm in the other Discord. I could pop over there and let them know. But you guys are going back to green. Good luck.
There you go. There's Johnny Avila. Yeah, we're going to play as neutral as possible here, as all 4 cars on the inside lane were about bumper shoving each other as they are. This is easily the longest run in history to the restart zone because of the way that pit lane is configured. The start zone doesn't occur until turn 4, but the pace car enters pit lane basically in the middle of turns 1 and 2. They are just now starting to get to the simspeedshop.com start zone. Green flag will go back in the air. AJ Digby is the control car on the outside. Was going to be your race leader, but here comes Braden Carroll and Johnny Avila looking inside. Johnny Avila having the look on Braden Carroll. He wants the race lead and the bonus point for the lap led.
As they exit turn 4, Johnny Avila's ahead by a nose. Who does that lap go to?
It goes to Johnny Avila at the line. Put the bonus point up on the board. Question here from Anthony Hanley in the comments, and I don't know. I didn't see it. Why is the 04 hitting people under caution? I don't know.
So they were just bumping each other. That's common here in the NASCAR world to give each other little bumps coming to the green, getting everyone real tightly racked together, almost like a billiards rack. So you can give each other a good push when you get the green flag. The 04, Johnny Avila, and the 63 and the 24 are all teammates outside of SRC, so they are all very friendly with each other. Might just be a friendly tap, or he might have been trying to give him a shove up.
Braden Carroll back to the inside. He's going to try to put lap lead number 44 up on the board. Avila tries the crossover, but it will be Carroll getting the lap lead that time. Oh, Avila with a big slide up the racetrack. They might have made contact. Here comes the 04 and Cody Porter. Oh, Porter's going to make a big send into 3. I'll I'll tell you what, I am a little bit surprised that we're seeing Johnny Avila and Braden Carroll battle as hard as they are at the front of the field here. I'm all for it. Makes things exciting. But these guys only have one set of tires left in the box and 124 laps to go. Definitely breaking away from fourth place, Quentin Clark. Underwater's Garrett Johnston, Troy Haight back through the top 7. They're all within 2 seconds of the race lead. Man, this battle for the lead is so good. I hate to take our eyes off it, but Underwater's also battling with Garrett Johnston a little bit further back here. That's going to be for 5th, 6th, and 7th. Troy Haight as well, just back behind. Quentin Clark just up ahead of these two. Also, A.J. Digby and Tom Wilhite battling for the 9th position. As it stands right now, only one car appears to be out of this race, and it is Tyler Seville on pit lane for 10 minutes and 55 seconds to this point in the race. As these leaders are absolutely putting on a show here in Phoenix.
Oh man, almost making contact there. Definitely trading some paint.
Yeah, I guess that's the old 4 tire or 8 tires are better than 4 method of slowing the race car down. It's so neat to watch though is how in control of this they are. We'll go on board here with Johnny Avila.
Hey, you say in control, I say magic.
And Avila's really got to watch, yeah, because here comes Cody Porter. Porter's going to be right there to fight Avila, I mean, the entire way. Oh, you can just hear those tires absolutely begging for mercy on Johnny Avila's car.
I mean, Cody Porter doesn't really have skin in this fight. He does, because his teammates and I believe the team president of Express Esports, so these are 2 of his drivers that are racing for this championship. But he himself has nothing to lose here if he goes out there and wins this thing.
Yeah, and quite frankly, if he gets the win and his guys finish 2nd and 3rd, that probably puts him in a pretty good mood, because one of them's claiming a championship, and he's taking home a dub at the end of the night.
Oh man, I could have sworn Johnny had gotten to the left, or yeah, the left rear quarter of Carroll's car there.
And you're not really missing much of anything else. This is by far the closest battle we have on the Speedway. And it's the fight for the lead and the championship between Avila and Carroll. Man, they're leading on each other again into 3. I have said this before and been proven wrong, but there is no way they can do this for the 125 laps or whatever are left in this race, can they?
They can try. I think we've seen them do it before.
Oh, man, Cody Porter's just, I mean, he has absolutely nowhere to go. Has to back out of it in the middle of 1 and 2 that time. And we saw that car start to get loose probably, 37, 38 laps into the run. If Avila and Carroll keep this up, I don't know how they're going to make it. That's 60 laps that they had to go. 65 laps, whatever it was. That's asking a lot. Oh, as Porter slides it is hard up into the outside wall. Keeps the car straightened out. But Cody Porter going to have to head for pit lane. Big damage.
Looked like a square impact.
Well, maybe not so square because he will take the tow back to the box. Take a look at it on the NRN replay. Oh, yeah, that was a big hit on each end of that race car. Porter gets it onto pit lane and has to take the tow. AJ Digby also on pit lane. Looks like the 14 AJ may have had an issue here as well. Take a look back and see if we can see what happened to Digby. Oh, man, almost the same hit as we saw out of Cody Porter. That was huge for AJ Digby. And a used up University of Mount Union Esports number 14.
Yeah, I'm thinking if your car starts getting loose like that, it's better just to stay in the power and spin it out. What causes that is the same thing that was plaguing the ground effects open wheel cars. Is it starts sliding, you counter steer, as soon as you let off the gas, it loads up those front tires and they hook and pulls you right into the wall. Very, very scary hits.
Yeah, that's ugly. If you got one of them fancy direct drive wheels that you're loading up all sorts of, what are they, Newton meters of force or whatever it is. A whole lot going through your hands.
Metric foot-pounds.
Well, correct. But my point is, it's a whole lot of force going through your hands if you hit that wheel. Now, a lot of these guys are going to be using more of a NASCAR style rim as opposed to the kind of Formula rim that'll really snap in your hands. But now we're getting almost to a similar situation like we saw last night, Bizzle, because we now have only 9 cars remaining on the racetrack with a 6-point gap between the two of them. The math gets better for Johnny Avila the longer this race goes and the more cars we see fall out of it.
Yeah, I mean, now Johnny Avila is going to score stage points no matter what, and he's going to finish no worse than 9th. It's just a matter of if he finishes 9th in the stage, he's going to have to win the race, and something bad's going to have to happen to Carroll to kind of flip-flop this one.
Yeah, we talk about the positions gained. That one will go to Johnny Avila as it stands right now, moving up 9 positions from where he started this race. Garrett Johnston is up 6, Doug Visacki up 5. And right now, this battle between Garrett Johnston and Troy Hates, really, this is the 2 closest guys we have on the racetrack. Everybody else at least 0.7 of a second apart from each other as they run on the racetrack. However, also of note, all 9 cars that are still running are on the lead lap. Larry Bruner will be the first car to go 1 lap down, but he's still about 8 seconds from doing so. But already up to lap number 72, getting close to the end, towards the end anyway. of Northland Leisure stage number 2. Want to make sure we get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous taken care of here for our friends at the Sim Racers Club for the 2023 season, welcoming in Real Assist, a real estate assistance service, and Mint Mortgage, a residential real estate mortgage broker, as sponsors for this season. Mint Mortgage picking up the sponsorship of the fall season that we will have coming to a conclusion here tonight. Realty Executive Saskatoon, the sponsors of the most laps led hard charger and most positions lost prizes. Northland Leisure Products sponsoring the stage breaks. Custom paints and die cast, Jordan Barry doing just absolutely fantastic work, not just on the paints, but on the die cast too. I've seen some of his work on the socials, and man, that stuff looks good. Custom paints and die cast, a seasonal and grand champion prize sponsor. And Sim Speed Shop, a series entitlement sponsor with seasonal champion and safe driver drawing prizes, as well as grand championship prizes for the top 2. Thank you all very much for your support of the Sim Racers Club. It's going to be 100 laps to go this time by the start-finish line for race leader Johnny Avila, who holds a 9/10 of a second gap over Braden Carroll and is slowly starting to eat into the deficit for the most laps led. Avila currently having led 17 laps to 55 in total for Braden Carroll, but still 99 laps remaining here in this one, so plenty of time for Johnny Avila to pick that one
up. Not only that, but if Johnny Avila wins stage number 2, he gets back that point that he lost to Braden Carroll in the stage, in the first stage.
That's a great point. As it stands right now, it looks like we are potentially looking at a flip of the results here from stage number 1.
I don't remember how we do points here in SRC. Isn't it just wins and then count back to second place, third place?
Good question. I do not have a copy of the rulebook open in front of me, per se.
I have the rulebook here, but it doesn't show anything about tiebreaker, but I think that's what was discussed when Avila and Dick came in the Phoenix Tide last year.
I believe so. I think it was a count back. Oh, let's see, we've got a pass on the racetrack for position number 2, or at least a good battle anyway, between Braden Carroll and Quentin Clark. As lap number 80 goes up on the scoreboard, getting dangerously close to the end of Northland Leisure stage number 2. Bit of a wiggle there for Braden Carroll. Quentin Clark, you see, making reactive motion there as Hunter Waters is starting to catch both of these guys. And Braden Carroll just takes all the air off the front end of that 42. Little bit different doing that in a stock car as opposed to one of the open wheelers where the wings really make a difference there. But I'll tell you what, Patrick, I think we're starting to see the fall off here for Braden Carroll and possibly even Johnny Avila a little bit. Avila's 5-lap average still in the 29.8s. Braden Carroll's up almost 30.2 seconds. That early stint battle with Johnny Avila may have cost Braden Carroll a bunch in terms of the tire wear.
Yeah, he really has to fight with Quentin Clark now with everything he's got to spin a second here in stage number 2. Being just a handful of points behind, he has to finish second in the stage. Right now, the way the points sit, it's 591 for Avila to Carroll's 586. So.
Yeah, at no point tonight has Johnny Avila been in a points deficit. That is kind of an important thing to note here, is even when he was running third and fourth, it still was Johnny Avila's championship to lose. At this point now, Braden Carroll is going to have to make the ground up as lap number 85 has gone up on the board. It's going to be 6 laps to go here in Northland Leisure, stage number 2.
Yeah, the only time since the green flag dropped that he was at a deficit was the time the green flag dropped and he crossed the start-finish line to the time he entered the dogleg.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We've got a couple hundred yards worth of racetrack. Johnny Avila was far enough back to have been in a points deficit, but not much. And quite frankly, if you're going to be talking about drag racing these cars and starts and restarts, Johnny Avila is the guy that I want going after it, that's for sure. As Hunter Waters having to look on Braden Carroll. And as a reminder, there will not be a stage caution tonight here at lap number 90. So at this point, it's not even like Braden Carroll has the ability to say, hey, just ride it out, get to the end of the stage. You still got another 30 or so laps potentially that you need to put on these tires. And they've only run 44 in this stint.
Yeah, if I'm Braden Carroll, I'm thinking as soon as that green-white checker comes out, I am diving in the pits, getting myself a new fresh set of tires. Oh, that might be way too early, though.
Yeah, it's way too early. We're still going to have about 85 laps to go. Like I said, they're going to have to go at least a minimum 20-plus laps once we get to the end of the stage, as Hunter Waters has the look inside of Braden Carroll. Oh, Waters is going to go for a slide.
Well,
and that brings the caution out. Oh, as Waters chases it up the track and gets Garrett Johnston up into the fence. Caution is out for the second time here tonight at lap number 89. And that means Johnny Avila will pick up the win in Northland Leisure stage number 2. But I don't think you're going to see anybody come down pit lane this time other than potentially Hunter Waters. Well, I say that, and Johnny Avila is going to come down pit lane. Let's take a look and see what happened here under yellow. Hunter Waters dives inside of Braden Carroll. Slides it down to the inside. Oh, Garrett Johnston just noses the car into the outside safer barrier. What a tough break there for Garrett Johnston. We will await word on any penalties. But there's Johnny Avila, and he's going to take that final set of tires that are available to him. Interesting call. Avila down and away. 14.9 seconds the time of the stop.
How many laps led does Avila have versus Carroll?
It is 31 to 55 as it stands right now, and Tom Wilhite stays out on the racetrack.
And Carroll has 55 still?
That is correct.
Does Carroll still have the fastest lap?
Let's see. Yeah, we'll do the fastest lap does belong to Braden Carroll, 28.588 seconds.
All right, so out of the pits, points as they run. Johnny Avila with 631, Braden Carroll with 622. Only 8 cars on the lead lap right now. That would put Johnny Avila at 624. So Braden Carroll can still get this one if he gets the win and the bonus points stay where they are. Braden Carroll would have 625 to Avila's 624. However, if Johnny Avila can get the most laps led, that would bring him to a tiebreaker as the worst case scenario for Johnny Avila. Unless he gets an incident. Well, I guess he'd lose the hard charger too if he ends up in the 8th position. So still some room for flip-flop, but it's very, very tight.
Yes, still a very, very tight battle here. As we are down to 84 laps to go, Johnny Avila will restart as the race leader. Quentin Clark, Braden Carroll, Troy Haight, and Doug Wysocki, the top 5. And, I mean, now I know I looked at the schedule correctly and saw 3 sets of tires in the box. But yeah, they only have a total of 3 sets available tonight. 1 to start the race and 2 in the box. I don't know how these guys are going to go 82 laps. I mean, we're just barely past the halfway point of this thing. I guess the answer becomes there's no guarantee of another caution. But I would think, can you even go 82 laps on a tank of fuel here? I guess you could probably go about 80.
I would think so. Yeah, that's only 80 miles. That's far less than what they do at Daytona wide open. Daytona is restricted. No, it's not restricted anymore. So, yeah, I easily can do 80 miles.
Well, we will take a look and see as the field is going to come back to green flag racing. Avila and Carroll on the inside. Quentin Clark, Troy Haight on the outside. Avila is going to grab the early jump. He'll be your race leader to turn 1. Laps remain in the SimSpeedShop.com Premier Series season. A calendar that started all the way back at Daytona in February will come to a conclusion tonight. 36 races on the schedule. And Troy Haight picks up the fastest lap of the race. Take that bonus point away from Braden Carroll as Carroll's right up underneath of Avila off of 2.
Bonus point is taken away. It is now a 9-point deficit. No, 8-point. Apparently I can't math. It increased the deficit by 1.
The best part is you only have to read the spreadsheet. Going on board here with Braden Carroll as he is trying to chase down Johnny Avila.
I didn't write in the differential. It's 631 to 623. That's 8. I can math. I may have put proficient in Excel on my resume, but I did not put proficient in basic addition and subtraction on there, so.
That sounds about right. Oh, big send into turn number 1, that time for Braden Carroll. Here comes the crossover by Avila. So it'll be 75 to go, this time by the start-finish line. Braden Carroll trying to put lap lead number 57 up on the board, and he will do just that. Johnny Avila's still sitting on 39 at laps led. Quentin Clark has 1 lead. AJ Digby, who's currently out of the race in the 11th position, did have 3 laps led while we were under the second caution period of the race. Again, not much going on in the way of battles deeper in the field here. Quentin Clark and Troy Haight. That's the gap for the 3rd and 4th position, just back behind the race leaders. Then it's about 0.6 of a second separating Garrett Johnston from Tom Wilhite. Still 9 cars remain on the racetrack and on the lead lap. And I guess the clouds have popped in overhead, Bizzle, because track temperature is down to 125 degrees. I'm not sure how it has gone down.
You just about to say down to 125, huh?
Yes, down to a balmy 125 degrees.
That's almost sweater weather.
You weirdos up in Erie, anyway.
I went outside today, chasing the dog down the driveway, barefoot on ice, in sweatpants and a t-shirt. It's like 19 degrees out today.
No, thank you.
Like, wow, I'm finally getting acclimated with the locals.
I would say we share a state, but not a climate. That is for sure. Tom Wilhite getting around Garrett Johnston for position number 6, trying to put that P1 battery number 19 machine up inside the top 5. And Johnny Avila back around Braden Carroll. He is tallying up the laps led once again. Oh, as Carroll smacks the wall off the floor. Keep an eye on this number 24 machine. See if there's any damage. Doesn't look like the hood's sprinkled up at all on it. Just seeing the note that you dropped in there to race control there, Bizzle, that is a big thing here. That little bit of wall contact did not score an incident point for for Braden Carroll. What that means is he still has the bonus point for running a clean race.
Yeah, speaking of bonus points, has Johnny Avila overtaken Braden Carroll for most laps led?
He has not yet. It is 47 to 57 as it stands right now.
Oh, man.
67 laps left to go as they'll come down inside of the 25 of Larry Bruner. Bruner clears up and out of the way to the high side of the racetrack. Becomes the first car one lap down. Next up on the list would be the 34 of Doug Visacki. He is 24 seconds back of your race leader, so still about 5 seconds or so back. Braden Carroll starting to close in ever so slightly on Johnny Avila. The 5-lap averages for these drivers at 29.184 for Avila, a 153 for Braden Carroll. But the 10 and 15 lap averages hold off into the camp of Johnny Avila by about, a couple of hundredths of a second over those 10 and 15 lap averages. So Carroll is making up the ground, but just barely. The 5-lap average is now a 180 to a 179 in favor of Carroll.
Carroll knows he needs that bonus point. He needs that bonus point. He needs to lead and not go around.
Spin. Braden Carroll spins off of turn number 4. Caution flag is out.
I don't need to ask race control. I know that one's a 2x for loss of control.
Well, yeah, and also potentially an EOL for a self-spin.
That is very, very true. Right now, he's in the 5th position, but that could be all the way back to the 8th position. So, unfortunately, it looks like Braden Carroll, his chances are almost done. He's not mathematically out yet, but I'd say it's as likely as the Browns going to the Super Bowl this year, but frankly, that looks more likely than Braden Carroll winning this championship.
Take a look and see what happened to Braden Carroll here. Just kind of clipped the apron weird. The car bounced a little bit awkwardly on the apron. The back end steps out. And man, that's where it starts to make you a little nervous because, I mean, obviously iRacing does not necessarily have flat spotted tires, but you can definitely cook the tires in a very big way.
Yeah, you can overheat them for sure, and that is an older set than just about everyone else is on. And now that they're overheated, they're going to heat cycle weird, and they're not going to drive right for the rest of this race.
Yeah, and they've only got 23 laps on these set of tires, and they've got 62 laps to go. Garrett Johnston and Doug Visacki on pit lane. Larry Bruner coming around the outside. He will be the lucky dog recipient. So that'll put the 25 machine back onto the lead lap. So we will await the word from race control to see if there is an EOL penalty for the self-spin by Braden Carroll. I would imagine he would claim that caution.
What is he going to do? Blame it on Casper the Flying Ghost?
Well, you still have to claim the caution. That is in the rule book.
Or I guess he could blame it on his wife who's spotting for him. Might make for an awkward car ride home.
Oh, that's a great Kevin LePage joke there.
We don't even have to be at Talladega. I'll still make them.
Oh, that's fantastic. So the field should get the double up signal next time by the start-finish line. Johnny Avila holding on to the race lead, and he will put lap lead number 54 on the scoreboard. This time by Still not enough to take the bonus point for most laps led. And the field has gotten the signal to double them up. At least, yeah, it looks like Johnny Avila and Quentin Clark both going to elect the inside lane for the restart. Troy Haight will elect to restart on the outside, so it'll be Avila and Haight on the front row. Row number 2 will have Quentin Clark and Hunter Waters. Doug Wysocki and Tom Wilhite will make up row number 3. Of note, Doug Wysocki and Garrett Johnston both coming down pit lane this last time by. So they'll make the long trek down to the simspeedshop.com restart zone. Field will be under the control of the number 63 of Johnny Avila, as there are now 59 laps remaining in this season. Green flag goes back in the air. We are underway once again here in Phoenix. Position number 6, looking inside of Doug Wysocki as Troy Haight and Hunter Waters are going to do battle. Garrett Johnston now looking inside of the 34. Going on board with Hunter Waters, there you see Braden Carroll doing the chasing through turns 1 and 2, but just up ahead is that Woodfather, number 28 Chevrolet Camaro belonging to Troy Haight. And this is a battle for a podium position. As Garrett Johnston now lays claim to the fastest lap of the race.
Garrett Johnson, that only puts him 22 points behind Quentin Clark for the 3rd position in points. So it looks like Quentin Clark has that one fairly locked up.
Yeah, I would tend to think, just with the way the gaps worked out, I think Quentin Clark was fairly safe for 3rd. But it was everybody that was behind Quentin Clark that was kind of up in the air.
Yeah, it was only 13 back to Garrett Johnson, and then it was 4 back to Andrew Moore Jr. Andrew Moore Jr. not in the field tonight, and from Moore to Hunter Waters was 6. So Hunter Waters is going to pass Andrew Moore Jr. for 5th, but that's the only action we're going to see in that 3rd, 4th, 5th battle.
Man, I'll tell you what, that was a big move there. Oh, they're going to be 3 wide for position. Troy Haight all the way up on the outside of the racetrack. Garrett Johnston runs the middle. He's able to clear the 28. Opening up the door for Hunter Waters. It's a blue light special going 2 for 1. Haight says, not so fast, my friend. Looks like Hunter Waters is going to be able to clear that time by. Braden Carroll still sitting in position number 6 and just has not been able to make the move forward. Johnny Avila has passed Braden Carroll for most laps led here as well. To go here in the season, and it is Johnny Avila by 7/10 of a second over Quentin Clark. Garrett Johnston holding on to third. Excuse me, Garrett Johnston actually just coming around Quentin Clark. Pick up this battle, a fight for the second position. Johnston working on about 12 lap, do that math again, 23 lap fresher tires than what Johnny Avila has. Garrett Johnston already with one win this season. Picking that one up at the Texas Motor Speedway back in the early part of November. Johnny Avila looking for his fourth win on the season. Underwater's going to have to contend here with Troy Haight. That's the contest for position at number 4. Now at this point, if you're Johnny Avila, I would imagine you're kind of in just manage the race mode at this point. The track temperature continuing to fall. It's down to 118 degrees. Now, we've made a couple of jokes about the temperature and how hot it is, but that does make a big difference in terms of the tire wear that these drivers are going to have to deal with.
Yeah, the hotter the track is, the slicker it's going to get, and the more you're going to be sliding that right front and the right rear. So this car is just going to want to turn less and less. It's going to want to go straight less and less. It's going to want to stop being in control.
Well, Garrett Johnston tried to control the outside lane on Johnny Avila, and he'll do so. Pick up the lap lead for car number 15. Our 5th race leader of the night. This lead change coming at lap number 131. Now, Johnny Avila still absolutely in control of this championship battle, with Braden Carroll sitting back in position number 6. The gap actually going up for Johnny Avila. He entered the race with a 6-point advantage, and my simpleton math says it is a 12-point difference right now. So Avila actually putting the work in and increasing the gap over Braden Carroll. Got to say a big thank you to everybody that's tuned in on YouTube with us here tonight. Make sure you give it a like and a share, all that kind of fun stuff, and the super chats and all that kind of stuff are down there if you are so inclined. schedule on the National Racing Network does change up a little bit over the next couple of weeks for the Christmas and New Year holidays that will be coming up on Monday. The Silver Crown Cup will air on Wednesday nights with the Sim Racers Club finishing up. We have that whole opening in the schedule. So the Monday night Silver Crown Cup races will be moving to Wednesday for the next 2 weeks. Still airing at 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. I believe that would be 1:45 a.m. GMT. You are so inclined to pick up the iRacing schedules.
I almost wonder if that's going to make those an even bigger race, because that is their second SOF, and they do get a good split of drivers in that one that doesn't show up to the Monday race either. So we might have a huge strength field race for that one.
Yeah, and we've already had huge SOFs. Both the sprints and the crowns have been up over 4,000 SOF on each of their first 2 weeks in action, and man, it has been a ton of fun calling those races. Next week, the Silver Crown cars head off to the now late great Auto Club Speedway for a super speedway race. And then the sprints are going to head out on Tuesday night. That'll be our first race broadcast of the week. They will be airing from Southern National Raceway Park. And it's also Oval Week for the USF Pro cars as well. They will head off to Gateway. But first, we got to get through Circus Zandvoort tomorrow night. Slide back here. Pick up Larry Bruner and Tom Wilhite battling for position number 8. This is the closest battle on the racetrack, at least as they stand right now. Garrett Johnston opening up a 1 second advantage over Johnny Avila with 37 laps to go. We'll go on board here with Larry Bruner.
He has Tom Wilhite all over the back of that thing.
Oh, Wilhite thought about the dive into 3 that time. Interesting to hear how these guys are so different in how they're driving the car into and out of the corners. Bruner really backing the corner up. Wilhite driving it ever so slightly deeper into the corner. Move a little bit forward now and pick up Troy Haight and Doug Wysocki. Battle for position at number 5. No battles, no other fights going on the racetrack right now, but still 9 cars on the racetrack, and all 9 cars are on the lead lap for this one. And I would tend to think Garrett Johnston saving that set of tires may have been the smart play of the race. Significantly fresher rubber on that MTV number 15 machine at the front of the field, and you can see the gap that he's opened up over Johnny Avila. On the teams battle, Will Wursler Racing had 5 cars entered in tonight's show. 3 of those cars are going to finish 11th, 12th, and 13th. Hunter Waters currently runs in the 4th position, along with teammate Johnny Avila inside the top 5. The Charity Motorsports guy is going to be pretty thrilled, though, with their guy, Garrett Johnston, at the head of the field. In fact, all three of those cars inside the top 10. Doug Visacki could have potentially make 2 of 3 inside the top 5 if he's able to get around Troy Haight. Of note, Braden Carroll has not recovered from that little half spin off of turn number 2. That car still runs in position number 7 and just is not making up any ground. About a half second slower than Garrett Johnston and Johnny Avila in the 5-lap average. And now at this point, with the exception here of Quentin Clark and Hunter Waters, there is nobody that is within 1.4 seconds of each other on the racetrack. Quentin Clark and Hunter Waters separated by about an even 1 second. Also of note here, Bizzle, the most positions gained award will go to Garrett Johnston. Your hard charger, he is up 10 to Johnny Avila's 8 positions. Doug Visacki up 6, Hunter Waters up 2. Quentin Clark also picking up 1 position here tonight. And I guess the weather is turning cloudier. You can see it a little bit there in turn number 3. Track temperature all the way down to 114 degrees. What I'm really interested in following along, though, is this would be the kind of race where you would expect to see the dynamic track really come into play. And it just looks like that has not been the case yet here tonight, where these drivers are having to really go grip hunting the deeper we get in this race.
No, I think the track is way, way, way too hot for that to make a huge difference. I think in order to see a real huge difference with it, like we're kind of expecting, is we need a huge temperature swing during the race. Almost like you would see during one of the 600-mile races at Charlotte, where it starts in the afternoon, I guess the late afternoon, getting into the evening, where there's still sunlight on the track, everything is nice and hot, but you're finishing the race 600 miles later, about 11 o'clock at night, it's pitch black outside and the track's 30 or 40 degrees cooler.
Yeah, and actually you can see the cloud cover has definitely rolled in here over the raceway. Quentin Clark going to have to contend here with Hunter Waters before too long. But these drivers, Quentin Clark with 61 laps on his tires. Hunter Waters with 59 laps on the tires for that car. The gap definitely starting to close at the front. Johnny Avila has cut it down to about a second and a half. And this is kind of where we would expect to see that. Because Garrett Johnston is hitting that plateau point of the tires, I think, where we talked about early in the race, seeing about 39, 40, 41 laps on the tires. They really started to go away. That's exactly where Garrett Johnston is. And if there's anything that we've noticed about the way the tires run, they kind of get like they cliff. And so Garrett Johnston is going to fall off and start being in about the same ballpark as where Johnny Avila is, even though Avila's tires are 23 laps older.
Yeah, eventually they start to get to a point where they start to plateau to the same spot before they drop off completely. It's kind of the two curves. They have trying to think of a way to visualize this without having a graph right in front of me.
Oh no, America's worst crew chief is going to break out the graph paper. If there was ever a night for you to have a telestrator.
I was just about to say, if I had my telestrator, I could draw it out and it would make sense.
Yeah, we might have to play with one of those for the new year. Getting you an actual telestrator out here, getting you set up with that.
You points as they run, write them up on the telestrator too as we go.
We could, yes. But that's assuming we're going to trust you with drawing on the screen as well. As we are down to 20 laps to go, and actually it'll be 19 to go this time by for Garrett Johnston. The gap back up to almost 2 seconds over Johnny Avila.
Are you suggesting there's any screenshots out there that suggest I shouldn't have access to a telestrator?
Allegedly. Todd Wilhite starting to catch up to Braden Carroll for position number 7. Both of these cars currently running lap number 66 on their tires. And you can hear it. It almost sounds like Carroll is not completely off throttle, but it's definitely not the same kind of chippy pace he was running around this place earlier tonight. Oh yeah, you can hear the big slide off of turn number 4 that time. As Wilhite's got to clear Carroll around the outside.
He's just in damage control at this point. I don't want to say it's all over for him, but there's nothing out there really to go for anymore. He's going to finish second in the championship.
Yeah, he would need Johnny Avila to have a big issue. And of note, in the Grand Championship standings, Johnny Avila, I believe, has that one by a pretty wide margin. Entering tonight's race with a 210-point advantage over teammate Hunter Waters, and it will be a Will Worsler Racing top 3 in the Grand Championship standings. That championship battle already settled heading into tonight, as we mentioned. It'll be Johnny Avila, Hunter Waters, Tyler Seville, Andrew Moore, and Troy Haight, the top 5 in those Grand Championship standings. Kevin Dick actually going to finish in position number 6, and he did not run a race in the fall season. Picking up the seasonal championships in both the spring and the summer championships, enough to keep him up inside the top 6 there. Grand champions getting awards courtesy of both simspeedshop.com as well as custom paints and die casts. And there will be the safe driver drawings that Sam Maxwell, our absolutely fantastic league owner here in the Sim Racers Club. He will do that one as part of the end of season awards program that he puts together. And I want to make sure we get this in as we are down to 12 to go here, Bizzle. There are a lot of well-run leagues in iRacing, and then there is the level of detail that Sam and Jordan put into running this league on a week-in, week-out basis. Every week, you get a video race review, every caution, every tight battle. Race control is saying, we like to see this, we don't like to see that. The drivers always know where they stand. The rule book is very fairly written, and updates and communication happens in a really timely manner with these guys as well.
Yeah, everything is really, really well run. I don't know if I've ever seen a league run as professionally as this one. I know IndyCar Race Control might be able to take some tips here from the SRC guys.
Yeah, that is correct. Gosh, that would be fun. Let's get Sam in the stewards booth with Max Pappas and Ari Lyondike just for a race. Although he would probably pull his hair out with the lack of organization that comes from that group. But anyway, Troy Haight holding about an 8/10 of a second advantage here over the 34 of Doug Visacki. We're picking Doug up because it is the best battle on the racetrack right now, but with 10 to go, it is all about your race winner. Who will be your race winner? And crowning a champion here tonight, as well as Garrett Johnston comes around Larry Bruner. Those guys teammates on the Charity Motorsports squad. Garrett Johnston, 1 pole, 1 win this season, an average finish of 6.5 entering the night. But the big one of note, 60% of these races in the fall season, he has been inside the top 10. An impressive season thus far for Garrett Johnston. In fact, a very good rookie season for Johnston here. Johnny Avila coming around Larry Bruner now. That's going to keep Bruner 1 lap down. Gap still sitting about 1.8 seconds, but Avila is starting to close in ever so slightly. All the way back through the 15-lap average, the advantage does go to Johnny Avila. Not by a ton, but it is a little bit of gain that Avila's making at this point. And Avila will claim the bonus point for most laps led here this evening, having led a race-high 68 laps to 57 for Braden Carroll. Garrett Johnston putting his 42nd on the board, so he will not be able to catch Carroll for second on the list. And since the handful of cars went out early in this one, still 9 cars on the racetrack, and all but 1 of those on the lead lap. Just 3 miles remain in the SimSpeedShop.com Premier Series season. The Mint-Mortgage Fall campaign coming to a close here in just a couple of more miles, and Garrett Johnston absolutely nailed the tire strategy call here tonight.
Yeah, he's still pulling away from Johnny Avila. Johnny Avila falling off that cliff, but with 8 seconds back to Quentin Clark, I don't think he's got to worry.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's this is a, you can't quite clutch and coast yet if you're Johnny Avila. But this is about do not make any sort of a mistake. Off at turn number 4, white flag goes in the air for Garrett Johnston. Car looks absolutely spectacular. I want my MTV, and I want a trip to victory lane through 3 and 4 for the final time. Checkered flag will go in the air, and Garrett Johnston will pick up the win at Phoenix. He's your winner, and Johnny Avila will be your SimSpeedShop.com Mint Mortgage Fall Series champion. Absolutely spectacular looking race car there for Garrett Johnston. He's going to burn him down on the front straightaway. And while he's making the donuts, we'll take the time to show you tonight's race results. Garrett Johnston over Johnny Avila. Quentin Clark also up on the podium. Hunter Waters and Troy Haight complete the top 5. 6 through 10, Doug Visacki, Tom Wilhite, Braden Carroll, Larry Bruner, and Cody Porter. Cody going out early in this race. AJ Digby, Richard Fletcher, and Tyler Seville complete the 13 cars on tonight's entry list. Let's pick up Johnny Avila as he's burning them down here on the front straightaway. Oh, yeah, there you go. There's Braden Carroll giving him a little bit of love. Hunter Waters going to do some damage as well. We'll see if they're going to keep anything left in the motors of these cars for the drive back to victory lane. This is I believe the only victory lane in iRacing that you can actually, well, like the infield victory lanes anyway, that you can drive to and reach.
It's one of a handful. I'm not sure they care, though. They don't have to bring these cars out for a full season, so...
Yeah, they
burn it down, kill them, and...
I was going to say, they've used them up. That's for sure. Let's see. Yep, there you go. There's Hunter Waters making that big left-hand turn. And let's see.
I'm not sure Johnny knows where it is. Either that, or he has no traction left in the rear tires to get there.
Oh, there you go. Well, there's Hunter Waters. He has managed to find victory lane here tonight. So at least we got the 4th place car parked in victory lane. But let's start our victory lane interviews here tonight with our 3rd place finisher, Mr. Quentin Clark. And man, I'll tell you what, bud, the car looked pretty darn good tonight, but how did it feel behind the wheel? Because starting the race at 130 some degree track temperature had to be, I'm going to say, a little bit unpleasant.
Oh, slick. I'm so relieved to be talking to you today.
Yeah, it seemed like the car was an absolute handful, especially off of turn 2, and even in the middle of turns 1 and 2. There was a whole lot going on down there at that end of the racetrack tonight.
Yeah, I felt like I still get flipped around with which turns are which turns since they redid this place, but I just felt like whoever was leading was we were playing Mario Kart and leaving banana peels behind them. I felt like the best way to get around this track, for me at least, to save tires was to just really dive it into, I guess, old turn 3, new turn 1 after the dog leg, and brake as straight as I possibly could and kind of diamond. I felt like I drove it kind of weird compared to everybody else, but I just saved a lot, but just not quite enough. But I'm just happy to be here, man.
Well, and I'll tell you what, it was one of those nights where even just that little bit of difference in saving really was a huge difference. I mean, that was the difference between Garrett winning this race and Johnny coming home second, you coming home third, was even just having 20 lap fresher tires for Garrett. Was there any thought to not stopping at either of those early caution flags?
Just a split second thought, but it went green for so long at the beginning, and if there were more cars on the track too, I was thinking like, there's a chance we could get a yellow, but there's also a really good chance it's going to stay green, and if it stays green, I'm screwing myself by making a green flag pit stop. So I didn't feel like I had a choice but to take the tires.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was a pretty darn good show you guys put on for us here tonight. Congratulations on it. And also, I believe we can confirm a third place finish in the championship standings here tonight as well. Congratulations on it. Really a fantastic season for you here as well.
Thank you so much, man. I've been so anxious about this race. The drop race is helpful, but I had such a bad race at Martinsville last week. I really had to keep points in mind and try to keep pace up front. But I just got to say, I'll just jump into some thank yous. I just got to say huge thanks to these guys for putting on this league. Sam and Jordan, it's such a clean league, and everybody races so respectfully, and I just have huge respect for these guys. So I've never been more excited about coming in third for anything. I mean, I know iRating isn't everything. I haven't done an official in probably a year and a half, but either way, these guys all have much higher iRating than me, and so it really, I mean, the improvement and just really proud of the effort, and excited to be here, not only getting a podium today, but just overall in this fall season. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, congratulations on it, Quentin. It was a fantastic show. Looking forward to seeing you guys when we get kicked back off here. Enjoy the nice long winter break, though.
Thanks, man. And really quick, too, I just want to say shout out to my teammates. None of them could make it tonight. I hope Andrew Moore's okay. I haven't heard from him or anything, but I know Andrew Mraz is having some family stuff going on with his dad having a surgery today, so I won't go into any details, but be keeping them in your thoughts and prayers. And big thanks to the rest of the team for coaching me through this season, helping me learn each track, and getting to where I am today, and my family and friends for watching. So really appreciate all y'all, and you guys in the booth for putting on a great show, man.
Well, thank you much, sir. We appreciate those very kind words from you. And now it's time for us to get ready to talk to our race winner tonight, a guy who, quite frankly, I did not necessarily see as the pick to win going into tonight's race. He picks up the Hard Charger Award, leads 46 laps, and claims the dub. Garrett Johnston, congratulations, picking up your second win on the season. How huge was it to have those 20-lap fresher sneakers than Johnny and the rest of these guys?
Yeah, no, we were talking about that just after we came down. We were all sitting there, and we're like, "We taking tires?" And we're like, "No, God, no, that's an awful idea." And then within about 2 corners, I'm like, "I think everyone took tires except us." But it came to work out. It wasn't the worst call in the world, but I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a little bit of luck.
Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and quite frankly, lucky is maybe what this paint scheme is. A fantastic looking race car tonight. Man, the rest of the race, once you were able to get past Johnny, how difficult is it to hot lap this place with what the weather conditions were doing? Because it seemed like the car was, everybody was wanting to get loose. Everybody was having to kind of feather the throttle off of turn 2. There was a lot going on here tonight that was more than just make a bunch of left-hand turns.
Yeah, I was, especially out of 2, like you said, I was sideways more often than not. But when I passed him for the lead there, I looked down to see what lap we were on. I was like, God, I gotta drive 60 laps or whatever, out in front of this thing with no idea how fast to drive. So every few laps, I just looked down at the relative and just tried to keep him at the 1.5, 2 second mark, and I figured we'd be okay. But it's easier said than done.
Well, yeah, especially when you have guys that are contending for a championship. And quite frankly, you put on a pretty darn good show here this season as well. Taking a look at the numbers, looks like you will finish 4th in the championship standings. Man, that is a heck of a run for you here this season in a debut campaign with the Sim Racers Club.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's had its ups and downs, but like you said, for the first time out, you can't fault 4th at all. So looking forward to what next season brings, and next year we'll make a full go of it, and hopefully we'll have a fighting chance for the win.
Well, Garrett, congratulations on a 2nd race win of the season here in the Mint Mortgage fall season. And before we let you go, make sure you do all those sponsor plugs, shout outs, and thank yous you'd like to get in here as well.
Yeah, thank you guys for doing this all season. Broadcasts have been awesome. Thanks to Sam for putting on the league every week and keeping this thing running. And shout out to my dad, grandma, my aunt, Lenny, everyone at home, and I guess shout out to the old MTV. Bring the old MTV back. That's the last thing I have to say.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what I said. You're coming off before. I want my MTV and I want a trip to Victory Lane. Garrett, congratulations on picking up the win here tonight. A fantastic drive. That car was looking good, feeling good, and probably the guy who's feeling the best out of everybody here, picking up another championship with the Sim Racers Club, Mr. Johnny Avila. Congratulations, brother. This one was hard earned tonight, to say the least.
Yeah, it was definitely a good race. I'll say like that around lap 60 battle or whatever that I had with Braden was fantastic. We're beating off each other's doors, like banging. It was a lot of fun. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys put on a hell of a show, and at one point we're going, they can't do this for 115 laps. But how concerned were you that you were chewing the tires up at the same time while you're doing that kind of fighting early in the run?
0.
Okay, I guess there you go.
I was I don't know if you could tell on the broadcast, but you would see me just be real slow on corner exit, and I was driving it in kind of deep. So because of how loose this car was getting, I was either trying to park my car in front of his nose or whatever and just make sure I'm not using any rear tire, and try to put him in positions to where he's kind of using up his stuff.
Well, it's a great point that you make there, because once Garrett was able to get around you, it sort of felt like that was just going to be the outcome of the race at that point, where there really wasn't anything to fight for. Braden had his issue, and quite frankly, at that point, then it's really just a matter of kind of don't step on it and make sure you're there at the end.
I'm not gonna lie, I was trying to catch him, even though he had like 40 lap newer tires. I was like, I don't want to be a champion and finish second in the championship race. So there's a couple times where I almost crashed into turn 1. I was just sliding through it, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna keep going.
Go ahead, Bizzle.
Let's say at the end of stage 1, do you have any guess what the deficit was? What the point difference was?
Well, so he finished one spot in front of me, and I was 6 points behind, so I was probably, like 5 points? 5 points ahead?
He was 1 point behind you.
How?
Do you know what? Bonus points.
What bonus points, though?
At that point, he had the most laps led, had led a lap, had the fastest lap, and had 0 incidents. So he had 4 bonus points right there.
And I only had
the hard charger.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But do you know what you finished with?
I don't know, probably a 20-point lead.
15.
Yep,
Johnny Villa, as bad as math at Bizzle is.
But of note, though, it was actually a 9-point gain over Braden over the course of tonight's race. I did not see that as being a possible outcome to this thing when we showed up and we only had 13 cars. Did that give you a little bit to kind of look at and go, hey, okay, even if I have a bad night, it might not be that bad?
The thing is, if I'm in any position where I'm behind Braden, it was going to be bad. So my main goal is just to control what I can control and go as hard as I can go. Like with the smaller field is one of the reasons why I went for the hard charger award, because like I could figure it wouldn't be too much of a deficit to start in the back, and then he would just get maybe 1 or 2 more bonus points than me.
Well, I'll tell you what, brother, an absolutely fantastic season. In 11 starts, 4 poles, 3 wins, 8 top 5s, 10 top 10 finishes. Just absolutely crazy, the numbers you put up here. What do you do for the encore then when we come back here in just a few weeks' time?
Well, one thing that I want to say that's a little even crazier is I was looking at the points earlier today, and I think it was 4 races ago at Talladega, I was like 62 points back. So it was definitely a hard charge to come make a comeback and take this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was an impressive drive, that is for sure, throughout the entire season. Congratulations, bringing home another championship to Will Worsler Racing, without Will Racing, whatever you guys are calling the team now. Congratulations on it, Johnny. And before we let you go here, make sure you do all those sponsor plugs and shout outs.
Yeah. When does the next season start again?
Should be February.
Yeah, it should be kind of February, I think.
I'm gonna be honest, I most likely won't be returning to do a full season. I might do races sporadically, but this season was pretty long. I think I'm gonna just take a break, enjoy the championship, and see how the league grows, and maybe hop back later.
Let someone else win a steering wheel for once?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
But shoot, who knows? Maybe I'll come hang out with you guys in the booth for one of these races.
God, that could be dangerous. Johnny Avila picking up a championship, a case of ramen, and potentially a job offer here from the National Racing Network as well.
What a career arc! Retires champion and becomes a commentator.
Yeah, that
doesn't sound familiar at all. Oh man! Shoot.
Go ahead, buddy.
It's been a lot of fun joking with you guys over these past couple of years. That's for sure. I enjoy these interviews with y'all.
Well, yeah, we definitely have a fun conversation when we do get to chat. Johnny, before we let you go here, shout out the teams and the sponsors and everybody one more time here. Then, if this is going to be the curtain call and swan song for Mr. Johnny Avila.
Wow. Obviously, I'd like to thank everybody that puts this league together first and foremost. Right, you got Sam. He the amount of work he does off screen for just to make sure the league is running smoothly, make sure people are having a good time, and the prizes that this league has, especially for how much it costs to enter, it's kind of outstanding. It's crazy. And you got both of the Jordans behind the scenes reviewing the races, and they're always there if you got questions. So it's definitely a great league to be a part of. And one of the best parts is no doubt you guys up in the booth every week. It's been a lot of fun hanging out with you guys, joking around, and most importantly, the quality that you bring this league. It's top tier. It's always great to watch these races back.
Well, thank you very much, brother. We appreciate those kind words. And yeah, this one has been a ton of fun, man. Bizzle, we're getting ready to round out our coverage here for the for the fall season, the full season. We started this back in February, our second full year of broadcast, I will say mediocrity with the fine folks at the Sim Racers Club. But man, they just fantastic group of guys. The racing is always good. And quite frankly, some pretty big things it sounds like are going to be coming for these guys that they'll be announcing over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, kind of wild that Johnny announced his retirement. I was not expecting that one. Retirement from full-time racing. Well, hopefully we see something like what Dale Jr.'s doing, where he comes back here and there, especially if we throw up a Ramen prize or two. But yeah, always fantastic racing out of these guys. Just some of the cleanest racing I've ever seen. The way they were running side by side for the first half of this race, it felt like. You can't get that anywhere else. Not even TNT, I think we see that. Those are some of the best guys on the open wheel side. And even still, after 10, 15 laps, you're going, it's going to happen here, it's going to happen here. And by the third time you're saying it, it's like Bloody Mary in a mirror. They wreck. It's unfathomable that these guys are able to go this many laps without wrecking, especially in stock cars where contact is kind of the norm.
Yeah, the shows are always good. The league, as we mentioned, is incredibly well run. And we're hoping that we can get all the details worked out, the I's dotted, T's crossed, and all that kind of fun stuff here. And that we'll be back with another season of Sim Racers Club action coming up in the new year. But with that, it's time for us to get the heck on out of here. One more race coming up before the Christmas holiday. That will be tomorrow night for the USF Pro Cars off at Zandvoort. That race will air at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night. Tuesday night, we come back with the Sprint Cars. So keep your eyes out on all the socials and all that kind of stuff. We'll have the full schedules posted. But with that, time for us to get the heck on out of here. For Bizzle and everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us, and we will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.